continue the section that now comes is very important. That Dr. Anton and Dr. Louis is Muslim. What I'm going to say now is very important. We will start with the prayers. Hopefully they come. Chichitaya manopistam staptam yena vikleshvamupkadamam dadati svapadantikam. Vandeham shiyo shiyudapad kamanam shiyum vaishavamsa shiyupam jagjatam saganaragnatam tam tam sajivam sadvaitam savrutam pajam saitam krishna sanya devam Shirada Krishna padam saganalita shikshakam pitam sa Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Chatpati Kopesha Kopakanta Ramkam Tapta Kansna Gaun Virate Vrindavanekta Vishabhani Sutadevi Pranamama Murti Pankha Kalpate Visha Kripas Nabevisham Padam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadhika Bhaktavan Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharani Nirvishesha Srinyavadi Paskachai Desatani Prabhupada Ki. So now Krishna is going to make really a big step now. A change of topic. So we heard, especially from text 16 till 30, Krishna giving gyan, knowledge about the spirit soul, transcendental knowledge. And then he spoke about the duties of a Kshatriya, doing one's karma. But it is related here to karma kanda, doing one's duty to go to heaven. But now Krishna is going to combine things. He said, this karma you should not do for going to heaven. This karma you should do on the knowledge that I explained before, that you are a soul. So it makes a combination. It tells Arjuna, now you should act based on this knowledge, and acting as a spirit soul. With that knowledge, acting is called Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. But it's a combination of it's action and it is done with knowledge. But Krishna will say it's done with knowledge, the action, but it's also renounced of the fruits, because the fruits are for Krishna. So it is renounced action, acting as a spirit soul, not as the body. Because we will see that in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, Arjuna will be confused. He thinks that renunciation is I give up activities. But Krishna, he tells him here, no, action, but renounced. That is renunciation. You renounce the fruits, you give them to Krishna. That's devotional service. And that's Buddhi Yoga, I will say, Krishna consciousness. Of course, this Buddhi Yoga, you have on different levels, we will see. And he explains level after level, not in one time. In 274, he will explain the principle. in 3.9, he will make clear you, because in 274 it says, don't do it. Do your action, but without attachment to the result. And in 3.9, it goes a little higher. He says, do your action, but give the results to me. And then in 3.26, I think, that, or 9.26 later, he will say, Yat karosi yatasyas yat dosil tatas yat yatapasyas count yat tat kosma, whatever. Then it says, you do the activity, you give the result to me, but you do also the activity for me. And then in 9.26, it says, do it out of love for me. So you see that is a gradual development. We cannot jump just to love of God. We do the activity external and we give the result to Krishna, but mostly we do the activity and we don't think of Krishna. We forget. It's not really on our foreground. So to be able to think always of Krishna, we must purify our heart. And that's a process. Is that clear? What comes? Because this is important that you get this. Okay. Then text 39. Okay. 239. Mountains. From there. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Eshate Vita Sankhye Buddhi Yogat Vinam Shino. Bhutya Yukta Chaya Pasta Karma Bandham Panashasi. Thus far I have explained to you knowledge through analytical study. So that was all the knowledge of the soul from 216 up to 230. That's called Sankhya and is Jnana. 30. And that is called Sankhya, or analytical study of the material elements. So that knowledge he has described. Now listeners, I explain in terms of working without fruitive activities. So if you know you are a soul, then you don't work for getting the fruits of your activities, because these fruits are for the body. Therefore, we work for Krishna. That we act as a spirit soul, not as the body. So that in the beginning of acting as a spirit soul, not as the body, means acting without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. Because we said before, we are a spirit soul. How do we contact the material or the spiritual energy? I want to hear one word. What is that word? Desire. By desire. If we desire the fruits, then we get reactions. It's called karma. If we don't desire the fruits, no reaction. It depends whether we get reaction or not, depends on our desires. Think twice before you do something. Why am I doing that? You will be astonished. So many self-motivated desires in our heart. And we have to get rid of it. So when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of knowledge. So you don't get reactions. And when you act in Krishna consciousness, if Krishna is involved, then you become purified from previous reactions. And you're only purified from all these desires. So we have in the purport here. So paragraph 2. 1, 2, yeah. Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Sishyasteham sadimantvam papanam. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process of Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for sense gratification of the Lord. I put your attention on that. Prabhupada said, Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga or practice of devotional service. For Prabhupada, it's all the same. Buddhi Yoga is devotional service, Karma Yoga is devotional service. But you have stages in this Karma Yoga. And the stages I explained already. First stage, I'm doing it out of duty without attachment to the result. Then the next stage, I'm doing it for Krishna. I give the result to Krishna. And then I'm doing it for Krishna, the activity itself. And then I'm doing it out of love. Doing it out of love is that's the purpose of Karma Yoga. Prabhupada goes direct to the purpose. That is what it's meant for. No need to discuss these lower things. Therefore, he equates Karma Yoga with Buddhi Yoga. Exam question. Why does Prabhupada equate Karma Yoga with Buddhi Yoga? I just answered it. Take note of that in your notes, that you can explain these things. That you can hear it again in the recording if it goes well with the recording. Let's see. So this Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10, by being the direct communion with the Lord sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. This verse is Desham satata yuktanam bhajanam pritipurvakam dadami Buddhi Yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Krishna says, if you serve me with pritipurvakam, a little love, dadami, I will give you Buddhi Yoga. The same word, Buddhi Yoga. I give you transcendental realization to the heart. The realization that you are not his body and how to act as a spirit soul. You become attached to Krishna and attached for matter. Krishna will give you this purification in the heart, this realization. And that's how we make spiritual advancement. That's the only way to make spiritual advancement. Krishna gives you realization to the heart. The only way. But you need pritipurvakam, a little love. That's a problem. We don't have that love. Even not a little, even not a spark. But Krishna is so kind. He says in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Tat vinapanapatna paraprasna sevya pradexantejanam jnanas tatvadakshanam. Approach a bona fide spiritual master and serve him, inquire from him, and with humility. So if you follow the instruction of the spiritual master and you serve very nicely, Krishna accepts that as a little love. And then he gives Buddhi Yoga. Should be clear, that point. So this Buddhi Yoga is the direct communion with the Lord sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. The Lord says, therefore, that only those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love, does he aware the pure knowledge of devotion in love. In the way the devotee can reach him easily, in the ever blissful kingdom of God. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. That's why he explained this. You are not his body, you are a soul, and now you have to act as a soul. So Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is about finding the roots of who we are. And who are we? We are the servant of Krishna. That's the root. They try to find that. The devotee already found the root, but is watering the root by devotional service. In that sense, it's the same. That will be explained in the 5th chapter of the Gita, the first verses. Verse 5 and 6, I think. 5th chapter. That Sankhya Yoga Pitak Balapadivana Pandidam. That's from the 5th chapter. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to walk in Krishna consciousness. By such transcendental engagement, one achieves all transcendental understanding automatically by the grace of the Lord, and thus his liberation is complete in itself without his making extraneous endeavors to acquire knowledge. But Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. So what's explained here is, even if you are not good in studying all this knowledge and the soul and this and that, and you don't understand it, if you practice devotional service with the motivation just to please Krishna, Krishna gives you the same knowledge that's realized to the heart. And that's explained in the next verse in the 10th chapter, 10:11. Tesham evanakampatam amakyana chamtan nasachanatma bhavastukana tipanavashatva. Krishna with the jnana tipanim, the thoughts of knowledge, goes in your heart and purifies you from all ignorance and gives you realized transcendental knowledge. That's realized knowledge is a result of Bhakti Yoga. We get here now theoretical knowledge of the soul, but to realize it is by performing devotional service. So Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the body and the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Krishna will now describe how by working in Buddhi Yoga for his pleasure, one can become free from the bondage of work. By performing devotional service to Krishna, one receives pure knowledge by direct communion with the Lord in the heart. Then text 40, that Krishna speaks about the nature of performing Bhakti Yoga. What happens when we perform Bhakti Yoga? Nekamino nasusti pratyavayo na vichati svalpam apyasya dharmasya tayate mato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. So, in the purpose, first paragraph in the middle. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise the whole has the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, and at the end, at least one is sure to have a chance in the next life born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmin, a rich aristocratic family, that will give one further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. So there are two things here. if we do work on the material platform, like this is a theoretical case. One person, everything he does in life, nothing works out. He has misery day after day from the first day till the last day of life. And the other person, he gets all fortune. He has a nice study, nice wife, nice children, obedient, never problems that exist only in the cinema, but okay, everything is all right. What do they both get at the end of life? They die. It's all finished. What is the result? Nothing. And that is what Krishna says. One who lives only for the pleasure of the senses lives in vain, lives for nothing. For nothing. If one lives only for the body, it's over. But Krishna consciousness is different. You have 1% Krishna consciousness developed in this life. You start with 1% in next life. And we will see that Friday, if we come so far, we will discuss chapter 6, and Krishna explains how this really happens, life after life. Our life after life, how we become attracted again to Krishna consciousness and come very quickly to the percentage we left up last life. Then you can go further. So whatever you do in Krishna consciousness, there is no diminution. You get the spiritual advancement you make, you get forever. It never diminishes. And another thing, that it protects one from the dangerous type of fear. And Prabhupada indirectly indicates this dangerous type of fear is going down to animal life. So the consolation prize is Krishna consciousness, even if you come only to the Sunday feast and you take prasadam, but you are connected with Krishna consciousness, some way or another, guaranteed in your next life, human form of life. Guaranteed. So that's the consolation prize. If you have only a short practice, still you will at least get human form of life. You will learn in the 7th chapter. In the 7th chapter of the Gita, Krishna explains about 4 kinds of people that surrender to him and 4 kinds of people who won't surrender to him. And one of those who do not surrender to him are the Naradams. The Naradam in the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, are very socially and politically developed, but are completely in the mode of passion, lives for their senses only. That is it. 99.99% of the population is Naradam. There's a lot. And they are all on the way to become animals in their next life. You can imagine that a little Krishna conscious, you get again the human form of life. That is sure. That's what Krishna is saying here. Now, text 41. 41 is an important verse. One pointed attention, Yavsatmika buddhi ekana korunandana pausakayanam tasya buddhiopya pasainam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one, O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Purport. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavsa Atmika Buddhi. Further, when one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, for there are no longer subjectualities like good and bad. At the end, it's in the middle. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches, so by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's action, then one will be satisfied. Further, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. One should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's essence in life. Srila Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur, he points out that's the meaning of this Vyasayatmika Buddhi, one-pointed intelligence. He says, accept the instruction of the spiritual master as one's mission in life. That is what Prabhupada did. He got an instruction to preach to the English-speaking people. And he went to America. He executed the mission of his spiritual master. That was his focus, that following the instruction of the spiritual master. Because one who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts. So this one-pointed attention you have on the screen, that Maharaj Parikshit, hearing from Sukadev Goswami, that 16 years old, fully realized. Here you can see his advancement from previous lives was already beyond liberation when he took birth. But Maharaj Parikshit was hearing with one-pointed attention, rapt attention. Yeah. Also, that is what Prahlad Maharaj is teaching his schoolmates. Glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead. This is one-pointed attention. That is what, when Maharaj Parikshit is asking Sukadev Goswami, what is the duty of a man about to die? I'm a man about to die. We are all men about to die. Sukadev Goswami said, Tasma Bharata Sarvatma Bharvanishkarori Ari, Shotafya Shaktatasya Shpa, Smartafya Shetabayam. If you want to meet your death in 7 days from now, without fear, you need one-pointed attention in hearing, glorifying, and remembering Supreme Lord. That is our duty, with one-pointed attention. It means whatever you do also, there's another meaning, but whatever you do, first think, will my spiritual master, will Srila Prabhupada be pleased if I do it? If the answer is no or unsure, don't do it. So that is one-pointed attention. So what is the beauty of a man about to die? Break down the walls of false ego in our hearts that prevents us to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of God, the protector of the devotees. That false ego. This is for me. Yes. Take to the power of Bhakti by taking shelter of the actual object of glorification. Now, 244, we will come to that. So acting, so the definition of Vyavsatmika that Prabhupada gives in the purport could be a question for your answer. Your exam, explain Vyavsatmika Bodhi. Then you give the answer from Prabhupada's purport. Strong faith that by performing devotional service in Krishna consciousness, I will get the highest perfection. So that is the answer. So devotional service must be performed according to under the instruction of the spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. Our spiritual master in ISKCON represents Prabhupada. And in that sense, they are representative of Krishna, because Prabhupada represents Krishna in Guru Parampara. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, Krishna becomes satisfied. Yasya prasado bhagavat prasado, yasya prasado nagati kutopi. The same thing. Therefore, one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Good. No, 242, 43. Now, Krishna is going back to this karma kanda and will first explain to Arjuna, forget this karma kanda, that because these karma kandis, they think I'm going to the heavenly planets and there is nothing more than this. But that's not true, Arjuna. Forget this karma kanda. Go beyond it. Therefore he says, Yaimam pushvitam vacham pradavant avipashita vedavadrata partan nanyat asti bhavina kamatmana sastarga para janma karma falapradam kriya visheshabha olam bhogashvarya katim prati. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery land, the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various activities for elevation to heavenly planets, the result that good birth, power, and so forth, being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life. They say that there is nothing more than this. So Prabhupada begins the purport with, people in general are not very intelligent. That's a problem. So you have spiritual IQ and material IQ. Their material IQ can be very high, but by their unfortune, their spiritual IQ is 0. They cannot understand that they are not a body. No way. And they will argue like anything. And Krishna will say in Bhagavad Gita, don't disturb them. Engage them in devotional service. That some way or another. So that's the message. That they do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven. So that is 42, 43. Because it says this karma kanda is not so good, but because it increases your lust and your attachment, it's not good. Therefore, in 44, he says, Bhogashvara pashaktanam tayaparita shetasham vyavsatmika bodhi samadana vidiyate. In the mind of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. We have already difficulty. We try to chant Hare Krishna in the mind. The mind wants to do something else. it's a problem. And that is Bhogashvara Prashaktanam. The mind is attached to sense gratification, subtle or gross. And that's a problem. So, and then samadhi or absorption in Krishna consciousness is not possible. So, samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of the material energy. Maya will get them. Yeah. So that means any excessive attachment or material opulence are obstacles to get that resolute determination. We are attached to things, okay, but excessive attachment, that's very dangerous. And that is what Krishna condemns here. Therefore, do not do this karma kanda, Arjun, because you will get attached, too attached. Trigunya Visaya Vedanis Trigana Bhavya Nirtvan Nitya Sattvasto Niryogaksema Atmavan. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes, be free from dualities and from anxiety for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So he said, don't do this karma kanda, don't fight to go to heaven, to get sense gratification. Because Bhogashvara Prashaktanam, you become too attached and you get all these disturbing elements in the mind. And especially the sexual attraction, lust or love. But when I satisfy the Lord Krishna, then I become truly satisfied. I become happy. They are all smiling, all happy. Every one of them. Nice. The danger of women and wealth, it makes you a servant of Maya. Rowing a boat without lifting the anchor. You cannot progress in Krishna consciousness if you are attached to these things. That gold, women especially. So what's the remedy? Is hearing about Krishna and understand the dangers of material attachment at the same time. Now, that's a little further to 46. So therefore, Krishna says to Arjuna, give up this karma kanda. Transcend these modes. It's in the modes. But you have to go beyond it. To go beyond it, you must perform yoga, Buddhi yoga. Yoga means connection with Krishna. Otherwise, you cannot go beyond it. So you have to act with this knowledge that you are a servant of Krishna's spirit soul. And that's Buddhi yoga, acting in devotional service. So it's said here in the purport. So when the activities for sense gratification, namely the karma kanda chapter, are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads. So if you give up this strive for sense gratification, then you can strive for liberation. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities of such happiness and distress, or cold or warmth, and by tolerating such dualities to become free from anxiety anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. So the point made here is that if you are too attached to sense gratification, then you are striving always that I want happiness, don't want distress. That's going to cause me distress. I don't want it. The happiness maybe lies there, so I'm going there. And that is disturbing constantly your mind. And this happiness and distress is for the body, it's not for the soul, with a body which you are going to lose soon. It is insanity. It's madness. Let's come out of this madness. That is what Krishna says here. Get out of it. That 46. Yavanarte udapane sarvata samplutotake tavan savesha vedushu pamanasya vichanata. All purpose which are served by a small well are at once served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So the rituals and sacrifices mentioned in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedic literature are meant to encourage gradual development of self-realization. And the purpose of self-realization is clearly stated in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of studying the Vedas is to know Krishna, the primeval cause. So self-realization means understanding Krishna and one's eternal relationship. The living entity are parts and parcels of Krishna. Therefore, revival of Krishna consciousness by the individual living entity is the highest perfectional states of Vedic knowledge. And then further, when Lord Chaitanya was asked by a great Vedic scholar, Prakasananda Sarasvati, why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy name of the Lord like a sentimentalist instead of study Vedanta, the Lord replied that his spiritual master found him to be grateful and thus asked him to chant the holy name of the Lord. He did so, he became ecstatic like a madman. In this stage of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta. The purpose of the Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word in Vedic knowledge, and the author and the knower of Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna. The highest Vedantist is the great soul who takes pleasure in the holy name of the Lord. Thus is the ultimate purpose of the Vedic mysticism. So that it means when you serve Krishna by chanting the holy name, Krishna will give you the knowledge, all the knowledge from within. And he will give that later, that I think it's the 11th chapter. And he will say further in Bhagavad Gita, all the results of austerity, of charity, of study the Vedas and so on, that's also achieved just by chanting the holy name of the Lord. It's just achieved by performing devotional service. So you get the results of all the other processes also, that this is described. You will get material happiness and so on, but that's not the purpose. It's a byproduct. Krishna will take care of you if you are pure. That if you are not so pure, he's also take care of you. But make sure that you become purified. Good. Now, 46. So the essence of this 46, I read it again. That as a great reservoir of water can serve all purposes of a small well, so by serving Krishna, one can fulfill all the purposes of the Vedas by serving Krishna. And the best way to serve Krishna in Kali Yuga is Harinam Sankirtan. In this age of Kali, most people lack the intelligence to understand Vedanta philosophy. Therefore, the best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy name of the Lord. Inoffensively, Prabhupada, without offenses. That 10 offenses to be avoided. That so now 47, Krishna starts to give the essence of Karma Yoga. Karma nevadikaraste ma phalesh kadachna, ma karma phale turbo mati sangat for karmani. That yes. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of activities, and never be attached doing your duty. First time at 96, 97, I arrived in Calcutta, and there were everywhere big billboards, advertisements from the government. And they wrote on it, Karmane vadakaraste. You have to do your duty. And with Krishna speaking to Arjuna, nice. The government wanted everyone to do his duty. But they didn't mention the second line of the verse, which is most important. That's the consciousness in which you have to do your duty. You have to do it ma phalesha kadachana, not being attached to the results of your work. That so yes, the purport. Prescribed duties are activities and joined in terms of the acquired modes of material nature. So you have to imagine here, or be aware of the culture in which Krishna is speaking. The culture is Varnashram that he is speaking. So he's saying, do your prescribed duties and don't be attached to the result. So how is this karma yoga? Yoga is connected with Krishna. How is this connected with Krishna? How is this connected with Krishna? Important to know, because that's the essence of karma yoga. Please.
To give the results of action to Krishna, and that is our connection.
That's higher. That's a higher form of karma yoga. Then it becomes devotional service. That's 3.9 Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna says, just don't be attached to the results. How is it connected with Krishna? It's important to know, because otherwise it's no yoga if it's not connected with Krishna. Yoga means connection with Krishna. This is in the Bhagavatam 1-13, which gives the purpose of the varnashram, of performing one's varnashram duties. 1-13. Ata pumbir tviyashvista varnashrama vibhagasa swanustisyasya dharmasya samsiddhiharito nirdosham. For best among twice born, it is therefore concluded that the perfection highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation, according to the caste divisions and orders of life, is to please the personality of Godhead. So that means the entire Varnashram system, if we follow it, it pleases Krishna. So if one does one's duty in the Varnashram, it pleases Krishna, even without Krishna consciousness, just being detached from the result. Then you cooperate together in these four divisions of society, and you create a peaceful society, and that pleases Krishna. So it is an indirect way to pleasing Krishna. Is that clear? How it pleases Krishna? Okay, because that's important, because otherwise it cannot be called yoga. But it was done in the Varnashram system. But Krishna says also, Makarma paleto bhumati sangat vakarmani. Don't be attached to not doing your duty. That's the other. And therefore, Prabhupada writes in the purport at the end, Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty, that without attachment to the result, his non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is a cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path for salvation of Arjuna. The only, yeah. So important here is, Krishna says, act without attachment to the results. Because if one is attached to the results of work, is the cause of his action. He becomes responsible for his action. And then he becomes the enjoyer of the suffering of the results of that action. Very important. Of course, it's difficult for us to do our duty without being attached to the result. It's more easy to do our duty and give it to Krishna than being not attached. That's more difficult. So therefore, 3.9 Bhagavad Gita, which we will study tomorrow, it's more easy. Because in the next chapters, chapter 3, 4, 5, and 6, I've studied not only Prabhupada's purports, but also the purports of our acharyas on Bhagavad Gita. And I will put them between on slides. And I will ask questions, reflection question, introspection. I will try to get you into introspection, thinking what's in here for me, how to apply it, because that's what we must always think, what is in there for me. Yes?
Not to be attached to the result, do your work, not to be attached to the result. That is also means you're not in dunya, or that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you become responsible for your action when you do it with the desire to enjoy yourself. Then you get karma. If you do the action for the pleasure of Krishna, then no action, no reaction. That's a very simple thing. And that will, in the 4th chapter, we will go deeper in that. Deeper. That this is the beginning of this explanation. Okay. So here, one who is attached to the results is also the cause of action. Yeah, we must learn to work without attachment, that yeah. Thus he is the enjoyer and sufferer of such actions. Arjuna's non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. 248, next verse. Now, Krishna gives a definition of yoga. Yoga stako karamani sangachvatva dhananja asida siddhyo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchate. It's one of the definitions of yoga Krishna gives. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Purport. Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is that yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme Lord by controlling the ever-disturbing senses. A little further. Gain or victory are Krishna's concerns. And Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga, and this is practiced in the process of called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness, only one can give up a sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna, or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. So Prabhupada brings us to the point. Acting in yoga means following the dictations of the super soul within the heart. We don't hear these dictations now because our heart is not pure. If our heart is pure, we will hear these dictations directly, direct contact. That's our Shakti. That's a very high realization in Krishna consciousness. But that Shakti must come before we develop Bhava, love for Krishna. It comes before. That's the Paramatma realization. So Krishna gives dictations from within the heart. Even when our heart is impure, Krishna gives us dictations. And we know it. We know if we do something selfish, we don't feel happy inside. But if we, like when a mother serves the child, without asking something in return out of love, she feels a satisfaction in the heart. If you give something away, you help someone, it gives satisfaction. The satisfaction is Krishna who is in the heart, who says, this is good. But otherwise, it gives